16 months sure is a long, long time, but WWE fans are finally back on Friday nights. I'm John Rectum with my review of WWE Smackdown, as well as my WWE Money in the Bank 2021 predictions. Two videos, humans had to be together into one, presented to you all because even though Money in the Bank is shaping up to be a pretty damn good pay-per-view, at least on paper, hence the term pay-per-view, that's how words work, right? It's not how words work. But anyway, I don't feel it justifies doing a separate video. But let me know your thoughts on Smackdown as well as your predictions for the pay-per-view on Sunday in the comments, please. And they're in Houston, Texas. Bit of a homecoming there in Houston, if you'll see what I did there. And while not everything was perfect, they opened the show hot, they closed the show hot, and the crowd was pretty electric for at least a good portion of the show. So they did have a nice, video package. The production staff really puts a lot of effort in, top quality people that work there. The wrestlers in the stands welcoming us back. New set. The set looks really cool, more streamlined. And the hollowed out husk of Vince McMahon welcomes us. They're chanting, "No chance in hell, no chance in hell." That's how the theme actually goes. And he says, "Where the hell have you been?" And then he leaves. That was perfect. That was absolutely perfect because nobody really needed to see the molded clay face of Vince McMahon, who really is looking every bit of the mid-70s that he is. I mean, time has not been kind to that guy. He left, and it was really cool. He didn't make it about him. Outside like just doing that and being comical, which is probably one of the last times we're going to see Vince. I mean, except maybe, for Money in the Bank and maybe for Raw. But I don't think we're going to see him all that much because we probably shouldn't anymore. Anyway, Roman gets a bit of a mixed reaction at first. He got some cheers because he was the first wrestler introduced. But you could tell this meant a lot to him. Like, he was, he had that expression. But Heyman, he was even a little bit overwhelmed, even though he's been in wrestling for a number of years after being in, on closed sets and in the Thunderdome with all the piped-in noise. It's a really big goddamn deal. Outside of WrestleMania, they haven't had fans since, the March 9th, 2020 edition of Raw. That was the last one myself and the Durbinator did, and then the pandemic hit. Goddamn, I really miss doing videos with my best friend. Hopefully soon. But anyway, the crowd then pops for the Mysterios. They come down, and then Edge gets a big reaction, and then he's really feeling it. But no, he's getting a big reaction, and he's all amped up. So it's Edge, Rey, and Dominic versus Roman and the Usos. So Jay jump starts because if Jimmy did, he probably would have fallen over. And the crowd does pop for Rey and Edge. They also pop for Dominic. Burn the heretics! I kid. This is Dominic's first time in front of a crowd. Was he even part of... I actually forget the entire card of Mania. Was he even actually on the card? Like, genuine question. I actually totally forgot. But, he got a decent reaction. He did fine. He did get targeted for a bit. Announcer's table spot where he got slammed. Do it again! Man, don't know why I have such, vitriol towards Dominic. He's trying his best. And after he gets beat down for a while, tag to Edge, we get a melee. And then, of course, Rey gets tag teamed by two brothers at once on camera. Man, always delete your search history. You never want people to find out that you search for that stuff. Anyway, he gets tag teamed by two brothers, and the most devastating maneuver in all professional wrestling, surprise, roll-up 1, 2, 3. They couldn't even go one match without having a dreaded roll-up in front of fans. Unfucking believable. So then we get a beatdown. The Usos are beating down the Mysterios because they're facing off against them on the kickoff show for Money in the Bank. Edge gets a chair. And then Roman hits a Superman punch and breaks the chair off wrong. And then he's trying to handle his shaft, turns around, Edge spears him, and then makes Roman take his shaft in his mouth in front of thousands. I am starting to fear that I view wrestling a little bit differently than people. But people pop for that. And even though it wasn't a match, Roman was tapping out. There's a visual. Edge ain't going to win. Bit of a spoiler for my predictions, but it was a nice visual. And then backstage, Rey is upset that he got tag teamed by two brothers on camera at once again. And then Edge is saying that he will beat Roman. And Kayla, sweet Christ, Kayla. Man, she looks good. Seth Rollins is laughing. What in the stars and stripes? Rest in peace, Del Wilkes, the Patriot. What was he wearing? What in the blue hell was that shirt? And that jacket and all that. What was that? That was ridiculous. So he says, Edge, I hope you win. I mean, you shouldn't be in the match, but I hope you win. Then I'll win Money in the Bank, and I'll finish what I started 7 years ago when I just stepped on your neck, back like years and years ago when we knew that Edge wasn't going to get hurt. But nice little bit of storytelling they just stumbled into like a drunken elephant. Oh, hi, Jimmy, I didn't see you there. And I hope Jimmy gets help, but this is not a good look for WWE to keep featuring him on camera instead of maybe, I don't know, sending him to rehab at least for a few weeks to see if that'll help. But anyway, Sammy then appears. He gets a reaction, but he's like, I should be in the Money in the Bank ladder match. I should be in it. He says there's a conspiracy, but he's happy because now he has all of you people in his corner. Man, he was listening to that Bash at the Beach 96 promo from Hogan. If it wasn't for Hulk Hogan, you people wouldn't be here. Hogan was telling us how he felt, and we didn't fucking listen. So, here's Finn to a big pop, and then he lays out Sammy. That's pretty much it right there. There really wasn't much else, but Finn got a big pop. And one of my mutuals was perfectly fine during this. You know who you are. Stop thinking about it. I know you're thinking about it. And then Shotzi and Tegan are in the ring, and we go to a break. Okay. Shotzi firing her missiles everywhere, and we get a video package on Apollo and Commander Aziz Light. And then we get Liv and Zelina on commentary. I wonder if they got Zelina a high chair to do commentary. Says, and they're just ignoring the fact that Zelina was fired for like a number of months. They said, you took the longest vacation, you come back like this entitled bitch. She didn't say the word bitch, but the most entitled person in the world. And it's Tegan and Shotzi versus Natty and Tamina. Remember how Tegan and Shotzi answered the open challenge last week? So would this be a tag title match? Nope. Just because they beat them last week doesn't mean anything. No, this is a contenders match. And so basically the match isn't that bad, but it's kind of a backdrop for Zelina and, Liv arguing like children. And apparently somebody took video of this from the inside the arena that Liv did a promo and got a pretty big pop. And that's good. Liv has improved. And Liv is not my absolute favorite, but she has improved dramatically. And I want to see her do better. I like that, that Live Forever WWE 24 thing. Really inspiring. And I hope that Liv succeeds because she's been putting in the work. So anyway, they end up rolling a bit outside. And then the most devastating maneuver in all professional wrestling, surprise roll-up, 1, 2, 3, and Tegan and Shotzi win. So I imagine they'll get a tag title shot the next week. And Natty and Tamina, by the way, are in the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and it's just ridiculous. So, at one point, there was this big old melee, and Tamina knocks into the stairs. You would think a Snuka would be better around stairs. Har, har. So, Liv then points up at the briefcase, gets a pop. And then Rude and Ziggler see Bianca walk by, and Ziggler says, hey, how's Carmella? And then Rude says, does she have a sister? Gee, I bet Rude's wife loved hearing that. Why is Carmella? Genuine question, why is she? She's not the most beautiful woman in the world. If you think she is, that's fine. Bianca versus Carmella, Smackdown Women's Championship. Fucking hell, Bianca is over. My goodness, that's good to see. She's realizing her championship potential she had in NXT, and it was never capitalized on. Carmella can't wrestle for shit. She was struggling. The crowd was into Bianca, so that was cool. Bianca must have herniated every disc in her back, carrying, this reject from the Final Destination 3 tanning bed scene. I will not let that go because it's ridiculous. And KOD for 3. And twice the time it should have taken her to beat Carmella. So, and Bianca was very emotional. Good stuff. So then Gable in Majin Buu, a.k.a. Otis, but he looks so much like Majin Buu, I can't ignore it. They talk backstage and know about how everybody fears him. Cesaro shows up. Remember how people thought that Cesaro was going to get a massive push after that Reigns feud? Ha! No, he really didn't. And then Otis beats him up. Yeah, Otis. Otis of all people. And Tony is coming to SmackDown next week. I will be perfectly fine when Toni Storm shows up. I met her in an indie show about 3 years ago. Sweet as can be. Talented as fuck. So happy for her success. Cesaro versus Majin Buu ends in a DQ when Chad gets his lengthy Gable cord right from behind and, throws Cesaro. And then Cesaro's like, hey, I'm going to swing you. And then Majin Buu stops him. And that's pretty much it. Goodbye, Cesaro. Your push is done. Not that his push was ever anything more than a month long. And then recaps of Edge putting his shaft in Roman's mouth while people watch. And then we a little aggressive with the mouth, aren't we, Kayla? Oh, never mind. Heyman said that about Kayla, and then Heyman and Big E Big E interrupts Heyman, and Heyman is trying so hard, as good as Heyman is, he's trying so hard not to crack. And he does his shtick. Corbin comes out to announce that he has a fund, a Corbin fund to pay the bills, $100,000. Yeah, this is good to do when people are struggling. Let's make light of it. This is not going to make me cheer for Corbin. This is just going to make me think, boy, WWE, record-breaking profits, all this stuff. Ha ha, that's stupid. It was like the money feud between Matt and Adam Page and winning the quarter one winnings. Or quarter one earnings, rather. The what chants were appropriate here. I know some people didn't like it. They were appropriate because nobody really cares about this Baron Corbin character. If you do, that's fine. Owens comes out. Corbin says, well, you obviously have the money. You don't spend it on clothes. He gets a stunner, and Owens is all fired up. And the crowd pops for Nakamura while Pat loses his shit over everything staying on the table because he doesn't care because Pat is just infectious on commentary. If you noticed, I haven't really mentioned Michael Cole on commentary. I'm not gonna knock him here. I'm gonna give him a pass for one show. Maybe for Money in the Bank. We'll see. But I'm sure he was emotional being back in front of fans. And I'm sure other fans were just not happy to see Michael Cole. Okay, that didn't last. Nakamura versus Rollins versus Big E versus Owens. Big E's got to stop doing that spear through the ropes or he's going to brain himself and I'm going to be very sad. And even though he's professional, that's scary. And they do some other spot. Other people do dives, and then we go to a break. And then next week in Cleveland, and also something called the Rolling Loud Festival in Miami. Apparently, it's a rap thing, which explains why I don't give a shit about it. They're gonna have 2 simultaneous shows. Okay, bit weird. Are they gonna present like maybe an hour's worth of dark matches for the crowd in Cleveland to justify the tickets that they pay for? I mean, is anybody at the Rolling Loud thing going to care? Who knows? We'll see. I'm interested to see how they pull it off, but this whole thing, it didn't work at Mania 2, doing it from 3 locations, and sometimes it worked, in Jim Crockett Promotions, but other times, So Owens does a dive off the ladder onto Nakamura, onto the announcer's table to a massive pop. I think Pat made his black pants white, if you know what I mean. And then Rollins stomps Big E on the ladder, and then the ref had to move the ladder out of the ring, or out of the way, so Rollins could get the victory. So that's pretty much it right there. Now, the match had more stuff, but it was really just a few spots and a lot of insanity. And hey, they made the most of about the 9 to 10 minutes that they got, because the entrances took about 4 years. And that was just Nakamura's entrance. But, fun show. Not great, not like the greatest, but high energy. And I'm not talking about the tag team. Not high voltage either. At least they had some fun. At least they did. That was definitely a plus. So now I'm going to move on to my Money in the Bank predictions. And this will not take very long. Rey and Dominic versus the Usos SmackDown tag titles. So logic dictates, easy for me to say, that Jimmy, because of his DUI arrest, they will not win the tag titles. Well, they had them win them, like, I think at Elimination Chamber 2019 after his, other run-in with the Law, or one of them. So the Usos are going to win here. I mean, it's going to probably suck because Rey and Dominic have not been great tag team champions. They just won them and it was a big deal and that was it. The Usos are going to win. We then get Ricochet versus Morrison versus Riddle versus McIntyre versus Big E versus Owens versus Nakamura versus Rollins. Men's Money in the Bank ladder match. I love McIntyre, but please don't have McIntyre win. McIntyre should be featured. He should be featured prominently. He was one of the stars of the pandemic era and really got screwed over as far as his title reign, but carried himself like a champion. I want to see him get back to that point. Not yet. Jinder and his goons will attack and they'll take him out. I have Big E winning. I hope Big E wins. Rollins doesn't need to win because Rollins is going to factor into the main event. And also we don't need to make Rollins a 2-time winner. Give it to Big E. It's going to be a gamble because I don't know if they're going to take the title off of Roman yet, but Big E needs to win this briefcase, so I think he's going to win. Could Riddle win? Sure, but does anybody really want to see Riddle go for the WWE Championship? No, nobody really does. I mean, or if you do, that's fine. I can't imagine the list is that long. So it's probably like that leaflet, famous Jewish sports legends from, Airplane. And if you get that, God, you are a comedy fan like I am. So Big E will win. Asuka versus Naomi versus Alexa versus Nikki Ash, I hate that name, versus Liv versus Zelina versus Natty versus Tamina. Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Okay, Zelina could win. They could say, Zelina, we're going to give you a renewed push, more money, and we're going to have you become the Money in the Bank winner. It's entirely possible. I'm going Liv. I think that they're going to have Liv win it, and then they're going to have Sonya try to screw her out of cashing in for a while, and they're going to hold off on Liv cashing in until somebody beats Bianca a heel, maybe Sonya herself, and then you have that match, and then you have Liv chase and cash in at some point. But Liv's going to win, but it's not going to be the ascent just yet, but it's going to be the first step. Of course, they'll probably give it to Zelina. Watch them give it to Alexa again, and watch, me just roll my eyes so much they go out the back of my head. So if Naomi won, that'd be cool, but, I mean, do you really think they're going to give it to Naomi again? I mean, Naomi's talented, but do you really think they're going to? Lashley with MVP versus Kofi with Xavier. WWE Championship. Lashley's winning. There is no way he will not win. Nothing against Kofi. I think Xavier might even turn on Kofi because they named the New Day the greatest tag team in WWE history, so why in the world wouldn't they just break them up? Because why the hell not? There's always a plan B. Except Kofi has kids, so clearly plan B didn't work, and this is getting awkward. Lashley is going to win. There's no reason why he shouldn't. Kofi can be kept hot and, maybe go for the U.S. Championship, something like that. Maybe he can get screwed over and they can have a triple threat and it could be Xavier winning his shot and it could be Xavier versus Kofi versus Lashley. But you know what it's going to be? It's going to be fucking, Lashley versus Goldberg at SummerSlam possibly. And nobody really wants that outside of casuals. They're like, oh, I remember Goldberg in 98 when he was actually good. Well, Lashley will win. So we get to Styles and Omos versus the Viking Raiders, Raw Tag Title. Styles and Omos, for the love of God, don't give it to the Viking Raiders because I don't like the Viking Raiders. I liked War Machine. I don't like the Viking Raiders. Rhea versus Charlotte, Raw Women's Championship. Charlotte, I don't want to be right. I hope Rhea gets her big win over Charlotte in front of, the first live pay-per-view audience besides Mania since Elimination Chamber. But I just fear they're going to give it to Charlotte. And then I hate myself because Charlotte shouldn't win. Charlotte should not win any more championships because I don't really like Charlotte and I don't want to see Charlotte as champion. But they're not going to give us everything we want. And this is going to be a time where I believe Charlotte is going to win. If Rhea wins, I'm going to love it. Roman with Heyman versus Edge. WWE or Universal Championship rather. Okay. Rollins is not going to factor in to cause any DQ, but he is going to do something where Edge is going to get distracted enough and Roman is going to beat him. He's going to choke him out. Edge is going to then want another shot. Rollins and him are going to tangle at SummerSlam. And then you can have Edge go for Roman. Or you can have Rollins go for Big E if Big E cashes in at SummerSlam. Whatever it is. I just think that Edge and Rollins is the end game. Edge winning the Universal Championship. Nothing against him. Because you don't need to take that title off of Roman yet. Not with the first, big crowd besides, the first live crowd besides Mania. Keep it on Roman at least until SummerSlam. I keep it on Roman until Mania 38 and just have Big E chase him for a while, but I don't know if fans are going to care. But I got Roman retaining. Edge is going to, then go with Rollins, and we're going to go with that. Could Becky Lynch return? Possibly. I think they're going to save it for Raw. I think they should, because that's the first show back. She can confront whoever the Money in the Bank winner is. She can confront either Rhea or Charlotte, and you could run it back with Becky and Charlotte, or you could have Rhea versus Becky. So anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.